Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. Today I'm excited to be sharing with you a fun embossing folder technique as part of the Global Stampin Video Hop. This month we are sharing projects that use embossing folders, so make sure to keep hopping around to see all the fun ideas by clicking on the link to the next video in the description below. I made these cards with the Painted Posies 3D embossing folder, a couple of ink pads, and Sponge Daubers. This technique creates soft colors and can be used on all types of designs. If you are new to my channel and would like to subscribe, click on the link in the bottom right corner. The first step in creating this technique is to take some basic white cardstock and you're going to add it to your embossing folder. And I have chosen the Painted Posies because I really like this fun design and wanted that to be my focal point. But you can do this on any pattern and it can be maybe like a background design as well. And then you could add die cut flowers or other images to create that focal point. So I'm using a 6x6 piece of basic white cardstock so that I can also do a 2-for-1. So I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and be right back. So when you're done running it through your machine, you'll have this beautiful design imprinted on your cardstock. And the next step is to choose your colors. So I'm going to use 2 different colors of purple. I have Rich Razzleberry and Gorgeous Grape, and then my green is Garden Green. And I like using Sponge Daubers for this technique because it gives you a little bit more control over where the ink is going to be applied. So you're just going to use your Sponge Dauber and you just lightly rub it on top of the raised parts of your cardstock. And if you do get some of the ink on the background, that's okay. You're going to have this really beautiful, light, soft color added to your design. So you'll get something that looks like this after you've added the green to your leaves and stems. The next color I'm going to do is the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm going to add this to the flowers. And you can use kind of a dabbing motion, or you can use a swirling motion to get that ink on top of those raised surfaces. So here's that first layer of Gorgeous Grape. So then I'm going to add Rich Razzleberry with a different Sponge Dauber, and I'm just going to tap in a little bit of that redder purple color right in the center of each flower, and that just gives the flowers a little more depth. There we go. Just a really fun, quick, easy technique. So the next step is to cut this into 2 pieces so that we can use it for both of our cards. So our final dimension is 5.5 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to trim off about a 1/2 inch here from the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this at 3 inches right in the center. And when you cut through an embossed paper, you do want to be careful so that you don't tear it. All right, so you get these 2 beautiful pieces that we can now use on our card. One last thing that I wanted to add to this before I add it to my card is a little bit of distressing along the edges. And I'm going to do that with a balmy blue ink pad because that matches the color that I'm using for my card base. And then you can use a blending brush or a Sponge Dauber. And you just go ahead and add a little color to the top and then the sides and the bottom. And that just gives it more of a complete look, especially at the top, so that you don't have like just this bare cardstock, because the rest of this all has color. So it just kind of brings it all together. So these are now ready for our cards. So I'm going to use a balmy blue card base, and I've got 2 of those. And then I also have some strips that I'm adding to the edge just to give a little bit of detail. Those strips are this balmy blue pattern. And I got that balmy blue pattern from this Flowers and More Designer Series paper pack. And it just has these really beautiful floral patterns in these bright, bold colors. And then on the other side, you've got these more of a solid print. And they're just really fun, very versatile. This pack of paper, however, is a host item, which means that your order needs to be $150 or more, or you can combine orders from friends and family. And if you're interested, you can contact me and we can walk through some ways to do that so that you can get that paper. And my email address is listed below in the description. So we're going to cut each one of those strips into 1/2 inch by 5.5 inch pieces, and then we will add them to each side of the embossed paper. And I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue. And you're probably looking for about 1/4 of an inch or so on each side. Okay, so they'll look something like this. Then we're going to add this to the center of our card bases. And then whenever I use liquid glue, I like to open up my card and smooth the glue out with my bone folder. And that just keeps that liquid glue from warping my cardstock. So then for our greeting, I'm going to be using some of these greetings from the Best Family Ever. And it comes with some really great greetings that are nice and small, perfect for this card so that the background can really shine. And for these first 2 cards, I used You're Wonderful and Happy Birthday. For the 2 cards I'm making with you today, I'm going to use You're in My Thoughts and Thanks. And I'm going to stamp these in Gorgeous Grape, but any coordinating color can work. And I have some strips that are 3/8 of an inch. And you just ink it up. And then you can stamp those right onto the strip. I'm going to go ahead and do Thanks right next to it. Just like that. Then I'm going to take my paper trimmer and cut these words apart so that I can stack them inside my vellum circle. So you'll get something like this when you're done. To add the greetings to my card, I wanted to place a vellum circle behind them. And so this is a 1.5 inch vellum circle. And I'm just going to go ahead and add the greetings with a little liquid adhesive. So this is just thanks, and that's just going to go right in the center. So that's for my first card. And then I've got these other pieces for my second card. And you could just kind of stagger those. On the circle. So maybe something like this. So for the next step on my cards, I wanted to do this double bow behind my greeting. And so I'm going to make these actually on my card bases instead of on the back of my greetings. I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape adhesive, so maybe about 1/4 of an inch or so to 1/2 inch. And you're going to add it kind of in that bottom right corner. And then take a little bit of silver thread. I'm using 16 inches. And I'm going to add that at an angle to my tear and tape. And then you just take each piece and wrap it back and forth to create 2 bows. If you need to add a little more tear and tape to hold things in place, you can. So just nice and simple faux bow, but you just keep wrapping to create a double bow there. Then to add your greetings, just cut some strips of dimensionals and place them behind your word, and then you can add that over your bow. Just like that. Then, of course, for our very last thing we're going to add to our cards are some embellishments. And I'm going to use these opal rounds. And you can use any embellishment that you have. These are just a really subtle, simple little gem that you can add. They come in 2 different sizes. So I'm going to place a large and a small up at the top, and then maybe another large here at the bottom near my greeting. And then for the in my thoughts, we'll kind of do the same thing. So a large one and a small one. And then let's do a large one. This one we'll place on the card instead of on the vellum. And your card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this card using this fun new technique with the embossing folders. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Make sure to also jump around and see what the other fabulous designers have created using embossing folders as well this month by using the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.